Good morning, 6th grade Highland Park Pandas. Today is April 2nd, which is your last day of the week because you only have 4-day school weeks until we come back to school, or at least until May 1st. I don't know what it's going to be like after that. And today, I thought that it would be fun to show appreciation to your parents or your grandparents or your auntie or your uncle or whoever is staying home with you during all of this while you're trying to get your schooling done, because I know that I am going crazy at home, and I'm sure that you guys are going crazy at home, which in turn means that everybody else who's staying with you is going crazy as well. And last week, I taught you guys how to make Chex Mix, because that is something you can make with like barely anything at home, or like a hodgepodge of stuff. You just need to remember like 10 cups of stuff to sop everything up. And so this week, when I was walking through the store, I was noticing that the things that were missing in the store were things like toilet paper, milk, bread, peanut butter, oats, like, hello kitty cat. Ooh, all of those sorts of things. But you can't really make much out of something delicious for your parents out of toilet paper. I'm sorry. And so what I was thinking, I was wanting to get something that you guys can make that I'm assuming, and I know assuming things is not wise, but I'm assuming that based off of the shelves, a lot of people have things like oats. I had to buy like, oh my gosh, kitty cat, get out of the screen. She just wants to be part of it all. I'm assuming a lot of people have oats at home. I had to get like the old-fashioned kind, not even like the nice rolled oats. But if you have oats, that's what you need for this. Usually I get the off-brand stuff because y'all know I'm about that off-brand life. And so it's weird having like name brand oats that don't like, honestly, I don't think that they work as well as my off-brand, awesome like Walmart brand. Anyway, so things like this, I know a lot of people have at home because I've seen the shelves are empty. Like this was like one of the last ones there. And then peanut butter, told you, off-brand, got that off-brand life. A lot of people have peanut butter. If nobody in our class is allergic to peanut butter, but if someone in your family is allergic to peanut butter, you can use like a substitute, like, I don't know, almond butter or sunflower butter or whatever it is. Like if you have some sort of nut butter that you use at home, like on peanut butter, the peanut butter jelly sandwich sort of thing, you can use that. You're going to need some sort of milk. This says creamer because I don't have any milk. So once again, using substitutes, I don't know if it's going to work. I feel like that's what I say every time. I don't know if it's going to work. We'll see. But you need milk. And we have chocolate milk in our refrigerator, but y'all know I'm living that vegan life, and that's my husband's, and it is not vegan. So I have like this almond creamer, and then you're going to need some plant butter. This is like avocado butter stuff. And then you need sugar. White sugar does much better than brown sugar, but all that I had at home, once again, I'm living off of like what I have at home, is like this ginger brown sugar stuff. But if you have white sugar, just white sugar, it's better. And then salt and vanilla. So to make this super easy, it took me less than 10 minutes to make. It took me all of 4 minutes to make this. So what you need in a pan, a small pan, doesn't need to be that big. Oh no. I only made a half batch. So I'm gonna make you do the math to figure out what a full batch would be. In the batch that I made, I used a 1/4 cup of butter. So if I want to make a full batch, I have a 1/4 cup, and I made half of a batch. So to have a full batch, I need to multiply by 2. Everything that I give you, you need to multiply by 2 to have the full recipe. So if I have a 1/4 cup, that's 1/4, and I need to multiply by 2. So 2 as a fraction is 2 over what? It's 2 over 1. So I'm going to take 1/4 times 2 over 1. We multiply across the top, we multiply across the denominator, and you get 2 over 4. When you simplify that, you can divide both the numerator and the denominator by 2, so 2/4 becomes 1/2. So I need a 1/2 cup of butter for the whole thing. I use 1/4 cup. You need, in a pan, in a pot, you're going to be making a 1/2 cup of butter. You need I used a 1/4 cup of this of the creamer. And so for milk, you also need a 1/2 cup of milk. Yes, that's right, sorry. And then I used a 1/2 cup of sugar, so I need a full cup of sugar to like dissolve it. So on the stove, you take those 3 things and you mix them and you stir them until it's well melted. And then once it starts boiling, you leave it alone and let it boil for 1 minute. And that's it. While it's boiling for that 1 minute, you need to get a 1/4 cup of this peanut butter. And so if you're using the full recipe, a 1/4 cup, once again, 1/4 times 2/1 gives you 2/4, which simplifies to 1/2. So I need a 1/2 cup of peanut butter if you're making the full recipe. And then, so I need to get that prepared. I also need to get 1.5 cups of these oats ready. So I need 3 cups of oats ready if I'm making the full recipe. And so I have those ready on the side while this is boiling. After a minute is done, you take the pot off of the stove and you mix in your peanut butter, your 1/2 cup of peanut butter, and until it's dissolved. And then you're going to add a 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla or a splash of vanilla. I don't measure it. And a pinch of salt. And you mix those until it's all dissolved together. And then once those are all kind of like incorporated, it's not going to be completely dissolved or completely melted. As soon as those are kind of incorporated really well, then you pour in your 3 cups of oats, and then you mix those in until you get something that looks, well, I'll show you in a second. Until you get something that looks similar to this right here. It looks kind of gross right now. Boop. And, oh, hello, son. Yeah, you mix it until it gets to that, and then you take it over to some aluminum foil and you start spooning it out into whatever size cookie you want, and you let it sit there for like an hour, or put it in the fridge if you want it to like solidify faster. It's going to be kind of runny, but it will solidify. I promise it will solidify unless you don't let it boil for that full minute. The reason why it needs to boil is so that the sugar can turn like into almost like candy-esque so that it becomes hard. So it's really simple, really short. To recap, you need, I'm going to do the full recipe version. You need a 1/2 cup of butter. You need a 1/2 cup of milk. You need a cup of sugar. You need 3 cups of oats. You need a splash or like a 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla. You need a 1/2 cup of peanut butter. And that's it, guys. You mix them all together. Well, you boil the first 3 ingredients. Oh my gosh, it's falling. You boil the first 3 ingredients and then you mix the rest of it in, and then you have cookies in like an hour. So, oh my gosh, look at all of the sun on my face. Like really, you couldn't wait like 2 more minutes. Oh, geez, looking at the sun is not wise. Anyway, I'll just scooch down like this. That's all for today, guys. Make something, if you don't want to make no-bake cookies for your family, do something to show that you appreciate them. These are some annoying times. Like, I'm getting annoyed with my family. I'm getting, like, it's only reasonable to, like, have short fuses whenever you're stuck inside of a place. So do something to show them that you appreciate them, even though they drive you crazy. Just like I tell you guys, I love you, but you drive me crazy. So until next time, I will see you guys on, actually, I'll probably see you later in a Google Meet, but I will see you guys hopefully on Monday. And until then, don't do anything I wouldn't do. And if you do, don't tell me about it. I miss you guys. I love you dearly. I cannot wait to see you again. And until then, have a good weekend. Bye.